Tell me if you've heard this before. David versus Goliath? Sure you have. Small company tries to get business away from someone that is way out of their league. Today, we look at the popular AMC television show Better Call Saul and break down how to win the job by being the small fish in the big pond. Before I play these two clips, I want you to pay attention to one key idea, and that is to know what your client is thinking and say it first. I refer to this as the 8 Mile Principle, made popular by Eminem. As a freestyle battle rapper, you win by humiliating your opponent. One very effective strategy is to take away your opponent's ammunition. You do this by disarming them, by being the first to say any attacks they can throw at you, thereby leaving them speechless. Roll the clips, Ricky.
I am not the safe choice. The safe choice for you would be HHM. I believe, however, that I am the right choice.
Why?
That suit you're wearing, did you buy it off the rack?
Please don't tell me it looks like I did.
If it did, I wouldn't have asked. So why do you prefer a tailor-made suit? Because it fits you, and you alone.
Look how Kim began this conversation. She immediately brought up what they're thinking. She said, if you want the safe choice, go with HH&M. But if you want the right choice, go with us. She already knows that she's not the safe choice, so she has to bring this up front. Watch what she does next.
And you alone, because each and every stitch was fretted over with you in mind. Either you fit the jacket, or the jacket fits you.
She asked him, and this is a great question, and asking questions like this is setting the groundwork for a potential trap. She's asking him, are you wearing a suit that's off the rack? And he takes offense to that. He says, of course not, and I've overpaid for it if it is. And she goes, every single thing about that suit was tailor-made for you. She's playing into her strengths. She knows that I'm going to give you something so custom and just for you and not for anybody else. This is not a cookie cutter solution that you might get with a bigger firm. And she is tapping into something she knows about her client. And that's something that you need to do as well. And look how she sums it up. Either you fit the suit or the suit fits you. And a big and important client is never going to want to fit the suit. They want things made for them. They want a bespoke solution. And this is wonderful. So she only has to overcome one more objection.
What if I want a whole warehouse full of suits? That's a hell of a lot of sewing. How's one single tailor gonna get that job done?
I know your bank's needs in regard to this expansion, inside and out. Having Mesa Verde as my sole client will take up the entirety of my attention, to be sure. But if this were beyond my abilities, I wouldn't be throwing my hat in the ring. I would not waste your time. Or mine.
Okay, so he said, what if I need a lot of suits and you can only make me one suit because I have a lot of needs? And she said, you, and this is the magic word, you are my sole focus, and I would not be putting myself up for this if I didn't think I was up for the challenge. And with that, she secures the client, or so we think. There's still one more person to pitch. Let's see what the bigger firm has to say.
Sorry, I was delayed.
No, we just sat down.
Hi.
Kevin Wachtel, Paige Novick, this is Charles McGill.
Chuck.
Pleasure.
Kevin, Paige.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you both for coming. And don't worry, I'm not here to extol the virtues of HHM. I'm guessing you've already had to suffer through Howard's hard sell first time around, so you've done your time as far as I'm concerned.
What hard sell? It was enthusiasm. I gave them cookies.
Cookies were good, as I recall.
Look what he does right here. He says, I'm not going to give you the hard sell. Old windbag here. Howard has already done that. And that's brilliant because this is exactly what the client's thinking. We've already made up our mind. We're going to go with Kim. You guys are not going to treat us like the way we want to be treated. And he immediately tackles that. He also knows exactly what the client's thinking, and he's going to bring this up front.
No, I'm here to put your minds at ease. Kim Wexler is indeed the right choice to handle Mesa Verde. She's the obvious choice. She's young, she's brilliant, she's going places. Let's face it, Howard, she's the future. Two old guys like us, we're the past.
Okay, of course, this is a scripted show, so they use the exact same but opposite language. He's like, if you want the right choice, go with Kim. She's perfect. And he goes on and on to talk about that. She's obvious, she's young, she's brilliant, she's smart. She's the future. And this is exactly what the clients from Mesa Verde are thinking. You guys are old-fashioned, but watch this masterful pivot that's coming right up.
Well, that's a sad thought.
Sad but true. Banking law needs to be exciting. It needs the next generation to come along and give it a big old kick in the seat of the pants. Really wake it up. Let me tell you how boring I am. I read FEC and ISO reports for entertainment.
He does. I can attest to that.
Well, I try to stay up on things. The rules are changing all the time. With everything that's happened with Enron and WorldCom, the government is extra vigilant. These days, the penalties for even the most honest of errors can be devastating. You need a sharp, young eye to catch that stuff. I mean, when you've specialized in this kind of work for decades on end, you tend to get kind of
Stale.
You get stale. You forget about things like, the Community Reinvestment Act. Any bank such as Mesa Verde looking to open a de novo branch is definitely going to need to show a healthy portfolio of CRA compliance. Duh. Obviously. You guys have all that covered, I'm sure. Regal Neal, Interstate Banking and Branching Efficiency Act. There's another mouthful, huh? Boring. Still, if you were to run afoul of it, it could hold you up in court for years. And by the way, if that were to happen to you folks as you go forward without us, which it will not, Howard has contacts at the Fed who could help sort things out.
1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's what Chuck is doing that's so masterful. He plants an innocent seed, something that potentially the client's thinking, and he stretches it to its extreme. He says that banking law needs to be exciting, it needs to be hip, young, and fresh. And we know he doesn't really believe that, and the clients don't believe that either. But when you say it out loud, it starts to give him cause for concern. And he builds upon this. And so now he's gonna set up the slight little jab, and he's gonna jab a couple more times before he goes in for the killer hook, the KO. He brings up the idea of a penalty, that even innocent, well-meaning, well-intentioned people make mistakes, and the government is not gonna forgive you for that, and it's gonna cost you in time and money. He then says you need a sharp, young eye, not people with decades of experience, because what is it, Howard? And Howard says back to him, we're stale. Yeah, we are. We've forgotten things. We've forgotten more things than other people have learned in their lifetime. He's playing up on his experience now. Now he's going to really build this and take this thing home. And he even says, we have contacts at the feds in case something goes wrong. We can help you overcome those things. That's decades of experience working for them, and it tells you how deep their networks are.
And then there's the SEC's interpretation of Section 302 of Sarbox. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, navigating that correctly could mean savings of several $100,000.
They know that, Howard? I apologize. When you reach your golden years, you tend to get a little long-winded, ramble on and on about details. My point being, your bank is in excellent hands.
He even says we're in our golden years, like we're gonna be put out to pasture, and we're gonna ramble on about things like really boring, like details. So he's saying that this young, fresh, new energy that Kim brings to the table may miss some of these old, boring details.
Look, I take your point. I do. But I have to say, I have complete confidence in Miss Wexler.
You should. She was part of our team. She learned from us. You won't find better than Kim Wexler. But no matter how talented one individual may be, the needs of Mesa Verde are too big to handle alone. I wouldn't handle your coming expansion alone. Which is why you should consider, once again, enlisting a team of professionals.
He knows he has one last giant hurdle to overcome. This is when the client says to them, and usually clients won't tell you this, but in this case, since it's the scripted drama, client says, you know what, we're pretty good with Kim, we're gonna go with her. And he goes, yeah, and you should. Notice how he doesn't fight them. He says, and you should. She's learned everything from us. We trained her, as a matter of fact. And so this establishes their power structure over Kim. Like, we're the masters, she's just the student. Do you want the student or do you want the masters? And to finish it off, He says, this is a big job. You're a big, important client. We have a big enough team. You don't want to do this alone.
Glad we did this.
Anytime. We are there for you, day and night.
Lovely to meet you, Paige.
And you, thank you.
Look at this. When I first watched how Kim pitched, I thought for sure she won it. But then when you hear Chuck pitch, for sure he took the prize. And of course, they won the business from Mesa Verde. They did this by highlighting their strengths, but also showing that the smaller firm wasn't the right choice. They're playing to their strengths and in subtle ways, making the choice obvious by planting doubt in the client's eyes, making sure that the client has only one clear choice. I thought Kim did a masterful job of positioning herself well given her resources, but the critical mistake that she made was she didn't think enough about what the other bigger, more established firm was going to bring up. She did her best. You can see that she was clearly outgunned by a seasoned professional who was able to bring up a ton of objections and to be able to speak to them in a way that the client understood and to pivot and plant all these seeds of doubt. At the end of the day, he realized something. The client really wants the safe choice and he's going to present himself as the safest choice. So we're experimenting with different types of content. Tell us what you think. Did you like this format? Let us know in the comments below and we'll make more. Do you have a favorite clip you want me to break down? Lastly, sit down, take a moment to write down a list of objections or accusations that a prospective client might bring up. Put those in the comments below and make sure you bring those up first. Talking to clients can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be. If you want to be better with clients, especially during sales, I've developed a course called How to Negotiate. This includes my Socratic 6 questions that you can ask to overcome almost any objection. I want to help you close more jobs so that you can earn more money doing what you love. Click the link in the description below to find out more.